Today on Studio G, why the measles virus is becoming more aggressive in the United States and what parents can do to protect their children.
And later, an inspiring story of a man who survived his battle with leukemia, what he's doing to raise awareness. Stay tuned, you're watching Studio G. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ron Paul Gavino.
I'm Daphne Barreto. In breaking news, the Metro Police Department's Fiscal Affairs Committee approved a $511 million budget this morning. The budget is up from the previous year's budget.
This budget includes money to hire more police officers. The budget will go into effect with the start of the fiscal year in July. An outbreak of the measles has caused the Center for Disease Control to warn parents about this deadly disease. Over 129 people in 13 states have been infected, but California has been hit the hardest with 58 cases. Measles are red sores broken out throughout the body. One way parents can avoid this contagious virus is by vaccinating their young children. However, in some areas of California, parents are refusing to vaccinate their children, which is causing huge outbreaks. In recent studies, outbreaks have increased from 15 to 30% in Southern California.
In California, the number of confirmed cases has risen in the last couple of years. So far this year, 58. In Orange County alone, the number of cases has skyrocketed. Is there any reason to support this idea that vaccinations could be dangerous to children?
Absolutely not. There are serious consequences to getting the measles.
The WIC Women, Infants, and Children Institution in Southern California is doing their best to spread the word that children must be vaccinated before they get the disease of measles and mumps because it can be very hazardous to their health.
CDC reports that this has been the biggest outbreak since 1996. According to experts, the two MMR immunizations that you can get are 95 to 98% protective against the virus. There have been no deaths of the measles reported in the United States since 2003, but experts say that parents shouldn't take a chance because it can become fatal.
According to the American Cancer Society, there are about 40,000 deaths due to breast cancer. The Susan G. Komen Foundation hopes to raise money of millions of dollars to find a cure for breast cancer. This Saturday, runners will be participating in the 19th annual Race for the Cure. The event honors breast cancer survivors and those who have lost their fight with the disease. It will be taking place downtown at the Fremont Street Experience. Registration is still open.
With cancer being the #2 cause of death in Americans, it's common to hear of it affecting those around us. One local cancer survivor shares his story of strength and courage as he battled leukemia. Reporter Tristan Balagtas has the story.
There's lots of obstacles you have to go through, and this was just one of them.
James Cernas was 19 years old when he found out something life-changing. He had leukemia.
I just saw it as an obstacle that I could get over, and I think that not only did that help me throughout the treatment, it kind of brought out a new perspective to life.
James Cernas spent 3 years in and out of Sunrise Hospital. Here he received chemotherapy and blood and platelet transfusions.
For the first year, it was very tough. There was a lot of throwing up.
Cernas' mom, Lucina, recalls the time she found out her oldest son had cancer.
I was crying. I don't know what can I do, and he was strong because he told me, don't worry, everything will be fine.
Cernas stayed strong for himself and his family, turning his attention to the Candlelighters Childhood Cancer Foundation of Nevada. With them, he got involved in marathons raising money for children.
I didn't want the disease to bring me down where I couldn't do anything. And that's also why I started looking into Candlelighters.
Despite being diagnosed with leukemia, Cernas manages to see the brighter side of things.
Whatever happens in life, even if it's good or it's bad, if your family's with you, I think that's the most important thing of all.
For Studio G, I'm Tristan Balagtas.
Like Cernus, many cancer survivors are making a difference around their community. For more information on the Candlelighters Childhood Cancer Foundation of Nevada, go to candlelightersnv.org. Now, you know, cancer is a very tragic thing, but it really brings hope when you see a lot of charities and organizations like this that are trying to make a difference.
Exactly, and it's the effort that I think is what matters.
Exactly, and I'm excited to go to the walk on this Saturday.
You're going, right?
I'm going, yeah, I'm definitely
really
going,
great.
so it'll be fun. But coming up, we'll take a look at the latest news in the science and technology world.
And later, how the arrest of 3 teenagers involving their cell phones has become a warning to all parents. Stay tuned.
NSPCA, where no animal has an expiration date.
Your community's farmers market. Welcoming, lively, friendly. A place where neighbors and friends come together to celebrate their community. With over 50 vendors, organic, sustainable, fresh produce are available just for you. Support and buy local at Fresh 52.
Do I know you? Oh my god, who are you? Why are you taking my picture?
I'm Savannah.
I'm Zoe.
We're the hosts of Happy Hour. Our show is kind of like a mix of everything. It's like happy hour, whatever you do.
You never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, all the elements of like kind of like a comedy show, kind of like put on radio along with news and then music. I'm Savannah.
I'm Zoe.
We're the hosts of Happy Hour on the Rebel HQ2.
And I'm like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Donald Woods with this Monday's Science and Technology News. According to the Federal Communications Commission, almost 1 in 3 robberies nationwide involves the theft of a mobile phone. In New York, police have even coined a term called apple picking to describe thefts of iPhones and iPads, which is why close to a year now, law enforcement officials have made attempts to partner with smartphone makers to feature a kill switch on all mobile devices that could render a stolen phone useless. Well, last week, the California Senate rejected the smartphone kill switch law. One of the concerns raised by some senators who opposed the bill was that businesses might feel California would be overly strict about regulating technologies and could discourage companies from doing business there. Reconsideration could be brought up again in California before the end of May, while other states are still debating a possible law. 3 Michigan State University engineering students have created a fiber optic-like blanket to treat infants with jaundice. The fiber optic blanket is covered in a breathable plastic that can be used in a hospital setting. It slips inside an infant's blanket so the mother can hold the child while it receives light treatment. The students began working on the project last October. They spent time at hospitals talking with nurses and new mothers. At the end of last week, NASA celebrated its 24th anniversary of the Hubble launch. The Hubble Space Telescope has been sending amazing images of the universe back to Earth for 24 years now. Hubble was launched into orbit on board the Space Shuttle Discovery on April 24, 1990. It's been shedding new light on some of the great mysteries of the universe ever since the giant spacescope has sent back hundreds of thousands of images of faraway galaxies and our own Milky Way galaxy too. NASA calls the Hubble one of its most successful and long-lasting science missions. It helped determine the age of the universe and the existence of dark energy. That's all the science and technology news I have for this Monday. I'm Donald Woods.
Thanks, Don. On to a story that shows that technology might not be the best thing. It's a common trend among teens called sexting, but police say that teenagers don't understand that it's against the law, and the consequences of getting caught are very serious. Police arrested 3 teens in Arkansas after they allegedly sent explicit videos of themselves to each other during a 3-week investigation. The 2 girls ages 13 and 14, along with a 14-year-old boy, exchanged sexually explicit videos on their phones.
A parent contacted the police department, and we sent an officer to talk with her, and she made us aware of this. And I don't think kids understand that that's against the law. A lot of times they're juveniles and they're kids, and they don't understand that they can be charged for violating the law for doing this. They could get probation, or they could be sent to juvenile detention to stay involved in what your kids are doing. stay up on their social media accounts, talk to your kids a lot, be involved in their lives.
All 3 teens face felony charges. After being arrested, they were released to their parents. Sergeant Betterton says the teens could get probation or face juvenile detention. Police hope this will act as a reminder for all parents to monitor your children's activity on their cell phones and to watch their social media accounts.
After the break, reporter Troy Fosgate explains how to prevent a fire from happening in your home.
Plus, Alvin Loy will show us our local weather forecast. We'll be right back.
Participation in Greek fraternity and sorority life at UNLV can provide an experience like no other, with benefits including supportive friends, leadership and career opportunities, and community service.
Greek life at UNLV is really great because it's a good way to network and meet new people from all over the place.
We got academics and we're all about that culture. So we encompass everything all around, and we're out here and we're trying to better ourselves to try to make it better, and let's just make it all better all together.
I'm Chelsea. I'm Toby.
It's your boy Miles Lowe.
Crystal McGuerza.
King Louie here. This is Don Conker.
3 P's in Pod.
The Miles Lowe Midweek Show.
The King Louie Show. The Revolution.
Combox Radio with Crystal May.
KUMV. The Rebel HD2.
Come listen to us at therebelhd2.com.
It's indie rock, rock, and underground hip hop, R&B mix, electronic and dance music.
Click on the listen link and there we are.
The Miles Lowe Midweek Show. I specialize in underground local hip-hop music as well as your top hits. In the first hour, we play your top hits. Second hour, other local legends that you guys may have never heard of. What I want my listeners to realize is that there's more good music than what you hear on the radio. Just diversify your ears a little bit. I love it with all my heart. It's your boy Miles Lowe from the Miles Lowe Midweek Show. You can check my show out from therebelhd2.com.
Welcome back. Your home is the last place you would expect a fire to occur, but Clark County firefighters say it's the best to practice fire safety now in case of an accident. Reporter Troy Fosgate explains.
Our main consideration is firefighter safety, and that's our main job is to ensure the safety of the residents and visitors of Clark County. So better fire safety practices will ensure that our job is going to be done with the best efficiency.
While fires can happen accidentally, a lot of the things that we can do we can prepare ourselves to reduce the impact by planning properly, by taking steps to reduce the likelihood of fires. There's a lot of things that you can do to prevent the likelihood of having a fire and having to go through that experience, because it's terrible.
The foundation for home fire safety is a smoke detector and where it's properly placed.
Smoke rises. So more often than not, you want to have smoke detectors on the highest floor of the home, but then also you want to have a smoke detector where it's most likely to have the fire.
Extension cords are essential for electrical needs, but be careful in how they are used.
When it comes to extension cords, you don't want extension cords to be overloaded, and if they are overloaded, you want to be able to make sure that it has a surge protector. And a lot of people, even myself, I could see myself being complacent with that sometimes. So it's pretty natural for everybody to do this. But what you want to be cautious of is that you're not overloading extension cords. So if you have 4 or 5 appliances plugged into an extension cord that's not rated for that, that's going to cause yourself some problems. So just be very proactive in ensuring that those extension cords, if you do have an extension cord that's overloaded, ensure it has a surge protector, and try to avoid using multiple units to one outlet to overwhelm that outlet.
A majority of house fires happens where it's most expected.
I believe 85% of majority of residential fires pretty much start in the cooking area. When it comes in the dormitory, whether you have hot plates, toasters, hair dryers, whatever it may be, that's usually how majority of fires start. So 85% of majority of fires in residential start in the cooking area. So that's something that everybody needs to be cognizant of.
These house safety tips will keep your loved ones safe and maintain a happy home. For Studio G, I'm Troy Fosgate.
To learn more about house fire safety tips, visit clarkcountynv.gov.
Staying on the topic of fire, with temperatures in the low 100s during the summer, wildfires can start if the conditions line up right. Last year, the Carpenter 1 fire was just a reminder that our warm and dry weather can fuel wildfires. This past winter, we received minimal precipitation, which contributes to dry vegetation.
When you get a dry winter, a lot of times there's not a lot of snowpack and stuff in the west. A lot of times it allows it to heat up earlier. And obviously the main concern with the dry weather is going to be potentially the risk for wildfires and brush fires. With the dryness, it allows the vegetation to just, there's no moisture in it, or to dry it out pretty quick. So if any kind of wildfires were to get going, they could, potentially spread real quick.
The National Weather Service issues red flag warnings based on particular criteria. Our extremely warm and dry weather is not the only threat affecting wildlife.
It's dry around here all the time, so we're not going to put them out if there's no wind. We're not going to put them out if the humidity is just, reaching that criteria for a certain percentage of the day. It has to have the wind as well with it, because it's always dry around here. So it may not have 15% or less humidity, but the main trigger factor is the wind.
For more information on how to help prevent wildfires, you can visit SmokeyBear.com. So, Alvin, after we just saw that it's very dry and very windy, what can we expect to look for the weekend?
Well, we can expect some more dryness, but let's look at this video that we have right now of a tornado that we just see going on through Arkansas. It's a very devastating time over there at the tornadoes, and we can see that they were just like this deadly tornado hit the mid-east and southwest. The tornado was an 80-mile-per-hour path and has killed 18 people in Arkansas, Oklahoma, and Iowa. Emergency officials are still looking for survivors. However, the good news is that we're a lot more fortunate here, as we can see that 74 is our high today with sunny skies and just great weather. And we can look at today's. We can also see that 72 in Nellis Air Force Base and 67 in Mercury. As we keep looking on, look, our high today is 74, but our average is usually 82, so we are above average. We're below average, but that's okay because we have the current wind speed at 16 miles per hour and 15 miles per hour in Las Vegas. Looking into our area, we can see there's a high pressure that's developing over the system. You can see this high pressure, sunny skies, and that there is a storm system that's going on through it. Remember that tornado we just showed you? Over here, this area, there are just many damaging winds and snow and hail and lightning. This is where the area of the tornado is really affecting the nation at most. But we can see that if we bring it back to home, we can see that area here, it's 57 in Las Vegas, our low, and Tonopah at 36 degrees. Can you believe it? It's almost summer, yet our low is so low. And tomorrow's forecast, however, is much better. 74 degrees in 74, Tonopah 56 degrees and in Medford 55 degrees. If we want to look into our extended 7-day forecast, we can see there's 79 degrees in Tuesday, 80 degrees in Wednesday, Thursday is 84, Friday 91, and the rest of the week we have sunny skies. There's just much sunny skies that's going on and great time for the rest of the week. And after the break, that's all the weather I have for you. Elena Ledbetter will sit down with the Southern Nevada Water Authority. Stay tuned.
Scribecast Radio Show. We talk to new artists, major artists, the best artists. We talk about hip-hop, R&B, anything else, hot topics. This is awesomeness. Play some new hip-hop. Second hour, we typically play new R&B. Freaking amazing. I'm Scribecast. I'm the best. What's up? It's your girl Scribecast. This is the Scribecast Radio Show. You can listen to me on the rebelhd2.com.
Only place where you're going to hear these stories, the stories that count, that Combox Radio refuses to cover. My show is The King Louie Show, so, no one really wants to hear about the last bombing that happened in Baghdad. So we do the stories that matter, like K-Rev having a seizure at mid-court, or fast-paced show with lots of fast-paced music, especially punk rock, and stories that hit hard. King Louie here, host of The King Louie Show on the Rebel HD2, and I am here every Friday noon to 2.
And we talk about anything from relationships, friendships, family, and school. Yeah, anything like that.
We know our shows from the 3 to 4 o'clock hour. We want to take that hour to just kind of let everyone unwind and just
take a break with us.
Yeah.
Hi, my name's Crystal Magorza, and my show is called Combox Radio with Crystal May. We are on Thursdays from 3 to 4 p.m.
Welcome back from the break. A recent article from the LA Times predicts that in 2036, Las Vegas's water source, Lake Mead, will no longer be able to supply water to the city. Today I'm here with Bronson Mack from the Southern Nevada Water Authority. Thank you, Bronson, for being here. So that article says 2036 we'll have no water. Can this be true?
Well, the Scripps Institute of Oceanography, who put out the report a number of years ago, did predict that there was a 50% probability that Lake Mead could go dry by 2036. Now, you have to remember that this is all based on probability. And those numbers can change depending on the season, depending on precipitation and snowpack in the Colorado Rockies. And that's really what it's going to depend on. How much snow are we going to get in the Colorado Rockies over the next 10, 15, 20 years? And I don't think the Scripps Institute for Oceanography necessarily has the crystal ball to be able to predict what that snowpack's going to be like. And ultimately, that's what impacts the levels of Lake Mead.
So then how can we prevent this possible prediction to come true?
Well, really, from a local perspective, as far as Las Vegans go, it's important for us to make sure that we're conserving our water resources and primarily conserving our water resources outdoors, because about 60% of the water that we use here in the valley is used outdoors. That's water we only get to use one time. The water that we use indoors, however, gets recycled. In fact, we recycle about 100% of our indoor water use. So everything that goes down the drain gets reclaimed, treated to near drinking water standards, and sent back out to Lake Mead, where we get to use it again.
So how much of that water in Lake Mead is for us to drink and how much is for us not to drink?
Well, we only get 300,000 acre feet out of Lake Mead. Now compare that to California that gets 4.4 million acre feet. We get the smallest slice of the Colorado River pie. And that's why it's really important for us as a city and as a community to make sure that we're using our water resources wisely. And primarily, again, that's with how we're using our water outdoors.
Now, real quick, you said we have the smallest amount from the Colorado River. Why is that?
Well, the Colorado River was all divvied up back in the 1920s. And it was divided up based on agriculture. And California obviously had a booming agriculture possibility, whereas Las Vegas did not. In addition to that, the negotiators for Nevada really focused on getting power out of Hoover Dam more so than focusing on getting water out of Lake Mead.
Okay, and now you have a video that you brought us about a project that you are all working on right now. Do you want to explain that for us?
Well, one thing that the Southern Nevada Water Authority is doing to help secure our water resources is to help maintain our access to our drinking water. So we are building a third intake in Lake Mead. It's a 3-mile long tunnel. It's 20 feet in diameter, and we're literally tunneling under the lake so that we can install a new intake that's at a lower elevation than our existing intakes. The concern is that as the lake levels drop, that we may lose access to our drinking water from intake number 1, which would ultimately wind up being above the surface of the lake. So as water managers and the responsibility to make sure that we've got enough water for 2 million people and 40 million annual visitors, it's a responsibility we don't take lightly. So we're building this new third intake to maintain that access so that we can keep water flowing out of the taps.
Now, when can we see this project be fully completed?
Well, the tunnel itself is just about 68% complete. It should come online in the summer of 2015, and ultimately that's going to, again, help make sure that every time you turn on the faucet, you've got your water.
Exactly. That's wonderful that you're doing that. So now what else can, the community here in Nevada be doing to, preserve the little water that we have?
Well, one thing that's interesting and what most people don't realize is that our resort corridor here in Southern Nevada, those are our hotels and our casinos, they only use about 7% of our water resources. And of that, they only consume about 3% of our water. So the reason for that is the majority of their water use is indoors. So we reclaim it, recycle it, and get to use it again. Their biggest water user for hotels is the air conditioning. As you can imagine, June, July, and August, they've got a lot of square footage to cool. Some of the things that residents can do, however, is abide by the watering restrictions. Make sure that you're turning your sprinklers off during the summertime between the hours of 11 a.m. and 7 p.m., hottest time of the day. You don't want to be watering then. Some of the other things that people can do is go to snwa.com, which is our website, where you can get all kinds of water conservation tips and even find out a little bit more about the quality of your drinking water.
Alrighty, wonderful, Bronson. Now, my last question for you is, with that statistic and the prediction out there, should we be worried?
I think one thing to keep in mind is that we've got a lot of great minds that are working on solutions here in Southern Nevada, and especially when it comes to our water resources. One of the things that we're doing is we are developing a water source that is independent of the Colorado River, which is our in-state groundwater project. That's going to serve as this community's safety net. Should we not see the snowpack come back in the Colorado Rockies and we see Lake Mead continue to drop, it's going to be very important for this community to have a water source that is independent of the river system. And that's one of the things that we're working on to help ensure the sustainability of Las Vegas.
That's wonderful, and it's too bad we don't have more time to talk about that project that you guys are all working on right now. But thank you so much, Bronson, for being here. And we're out of time, but we'll be right back after this break. Stay tuned.
I want this place to be a place that they feel safe and secure, a place where they get inspired. So many times we kind of get complacent in our everyday life, transforming lives in the community from the inside out. I've been in fitness my whole life, but now tying that in now in my spiritual walk, it's been just amazing. Some people may want to run a marathon. Some may want to just get off their asthma inhaler. Exercising and moving our bodies, I think it's, you know, we say if you don't use it, you lose it.
You are Kaylin Hype, and I'm Jay Luna, and we're Ill Vibe here. It's an underground hip-hop show here at UNLV, where we focus on making the hip-hop culture in the Las Vegas Valley more prevalent, and just making people more aware of up-and-coming underground hip-hop artists.
Basically, we play what we like. It's really as simple as that. Most of the stuff we like are our hits, so both.
On KUNV HD2, Las Vegas.
Collegiate DECA promotes personal and professional development through competitive events, community involvement, and leadership development.
I joined DECA because I wanted to get out of my comfort zone. So I got to meet people, network, and definitely work on my public speaking.
To join DECA, it's a very simple process. You have to pay a $25 membership fee. You can either come to our next meeting, our website, which is unlvdeca.co.vu.
We're open to all majors who are interested in business, finance, or hospitality-related fields.
One of the 80s favorite toys, the Rubik's Cube, is officially over the hill. The iconic multicolored cube turns 40 this year. In honor of the occasion, the Library Science Center opened an entire exhibit dedicated to it. The exhibit was called Beyond Rubik's Cube, and it explores not only the cube, but its influence on science, technology, and the arts over its 4 decades.
It's led to advanced work in robotics. We have robots that solve Rubik's Cube. It's led to musicians using Rubik's Cube to make music. Each twist corresponds to bringing on a new instrument or a new sound, so you can make music here.
The Rubik's Cube was created by a Hungarian teacher back in the 70s after being sold for 3 years across the world and made $300 million. After turning 40 this year, the New Jersey Library Science Center is the first nationwide showing for the toy exhibit. Before we leave you today, remember those sandcastles you used to make as a kid? Well, take a look at this.
The world's largest sand sculpture park will open on May 1st in Weihai City, China. The 72,000 square meter park will have room for 70 sculptures, the largest one being 18 meters tall. Right now, the largest sand sculpture park is in Kuwait. This one will be more than 2 times that size. Well, that's all the news we have for you today. I'm Ron Paul Gavino.
And I am Daphne Barreto. Stay tuned tomorrow for another edition of Studio G.
Have a wonderful day, Las Vegas.